Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodesh. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who are the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the true location of the Lord's temple. But let's read this first. This is Psalms 2:1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Right? You see, right now in the land of Israel, where the temple is at, you have a lot of these heathens raging. Right here you can see it says, these are Israelis dancing and celebrating at the burning of the Al-Aqsa compound or mosque, home to one of the most sacred sites in Islam. This is not a country we should be supporting. You see, so this is Amalek, or as more properly known as Edom, right? Namely the top tribe of Edom. Amalek celebrating the destruction of this mosque up here, right? This isn't the dome of the rock, but it's ultimately it's a mosque that is up there, right? And because of this burning of this sacred mosque that to Ishmael, right? Ishmael is the rejected seed of Abraham, who is the progenitor of today's Arabs. Well, the Arabs hold this site very, holy, right? And there's a reason why they hold it holy, right? Just as the reason why these Edomites, who again are the descendants of the rejected, son of Abraham, of Isaac, named Esau, right? Because both of these people see this wall, this mount, right? This Temple Mount as a holy place, right? But this is what's causing all this raging amongst the heathen, right? But we're going to show you they are doing this in vain, right? Because this isn't even the location of the temple. But let's go and watch this.
Iris, we actually heard those air raid sirens live as we were talking to you about half an hour ago. What can you tell us about what's been happening where you are?
Well, I've had to come inside because the rocket fire was very close to here. That we heard two large explosions, and the instructions are to come inside. What we know is that Hamas had issued an ultimatum to Israel, saying that since it had cancelled its Jerusalem Day parade, it was to remove itself from the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound altogether. And there was a list of other really impossible demands: release every Palestinian prisoner, those kind of things. And if not, Hamas would respond. And they gave them an hour to do it. That was at 5 local time. At 6 local time, when I was talking to you, was when the rocket fire landed. Well, it was all the way to Jerusalem, but it was further down the coast too. So we did see rocket fire all the way up the coast from Gaza to here. I have to say, rocket fire in Jerusalem is quite rare. I can't remember the last time, it was years ago. So this is definitely, we are seeing that this crisis in Jerusalem, this escalation in Jerusalem is spreading not just to the West Bank, but to Gaza as well.
Iris, we've just seen an alert here from the Israeli army saying that 7 rockets is the number that they're saying has been fired today from Gaza. This news then is not going to calm the situation where you are, is it? Talk to us about what you've seen and what's been happening in the past few days.
No, it won't. And it's interesting because the aim of the Israeli police forces, they say, is to keep things local, to solve the problem locally before it gets out of hand and spreads. Well, it is already spreading. It's spreading to the West Bank and it's spreading to Gaza. And that problem is, I guess, the dissatisfaction, the discontent that there is in Jerusalem that just bubbles along underneath the surface, and every 3 or 4 years it explodes. And we are in the middle of one of those explosions. So you can say it was prompted by a case about Palestinian evictions, or you can say it was prompted by the way that the Damascus Gate was handled by Israeli police early on in Ramadan, or by the holy month of Ramadan itself. But I would say none of those is really the cause. It's the discontent that's bubbling up and that nothing at the moment can quell. And by the way, it is having international repercussions as well. We're seeing things about this in Jordan. We're seeing a meeting, a demonstration in solidarity with Jerusalem in Lebanon. We're seeing comments from Washington. So it is no longer just one small incident or yet another small incident that is happening here.
All right, Iris Makler in Jerusalem, thank you very much.
So, as you can see, these heathens are going crazy over there, right? Namely, because of this burning of the mosque. You know, that's one of the main reasons now, right? But like I said, man, this mosque, again, that was burning is this building right here, right? The other sacred, site on top of the Temple Mount is the Dome of the Rock, right? The Golden Dome or whatnot. Well, this right here also is not anything special, right? You see, this mosque here is where you recently heard they kicked out all those Muslims who were praying, and over here, if you look down here, this is actually the Wailing Wall. You can actually see right here. This is where people pray and wail, right? Which is again something that is done in vain. This is really stupid, man, because these people don't even know what they're doing, right? And again, this ultimately, again, is the mosque that is burning down, that you can see in this video that these Edomites are happy and dancing for, right? Well, all that again has caused so much turmoil, right? We've recently just seen, and if you watched my last video, you've seen how I highlighted a lot of the destruction that is going on over there in Israel because of this, right? Well, let's go ahead and talk about why both of these people, these groups of people, these heathens, believe that this Temple Mount is holy. Well, you see, the devil that is in power, right, who rules the world, who, again, for the most part, is none other than your so-called white man, right? The Caucasians in power of the world today. The people who have, ruled the nation in wrath, who, lead the nations in deception, right? They've changed history, the facts, because ultimately they are the prisoners who have taken over the prison and are now running the place, right? And they're pretending to be the warden. They've taken off their prisoner gowns and put on they've taken off the suits off of the guards and the warden that they've killed off, right? And they've now are wearing those suits of leadership, man, right? Of authority, right? And in doing so, they've also set their own laws, their own history, and in that particular aspect, what they've done is they've taken the history of our land, right? When I say ours, I mean the Israelites, the true Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, and they have rewritten it to fit their narrative, right? They have told the world that this Temple Mount, right, which back here is the Wailing Wall that everybody's praying to, that in ancient times, that this was at the top of the mount where right now the Dome of the Rock is, right? That Golden Dome is right here, is the original location of the Lord's house, the temple of the Lord, right? That Solomon built, was destroyed by the Babylonians, and then later was rebuilt by Herod the Great, right? The Edomite. Well, that's false, right? Because this is not the correct thing, right? This is actually an abomination. This image here is a lie, right? Because you see, what they want you to believe is that this was built to house the temple, when in fact this was actually built for what's known as the Antonia Fortress, right? Let's zoom in over here on what they are saying is the Roman fortress that is supposed to house thousands of Roman soldiers and handle and police the state of Israel, right? Because you got to remember, this fort was built by Herod the Great to house the Roman soldiers who, for the most part, were occupying Jerusalem. And in doing so, in setting that temple or that fortress up, Fort Antonia, which again, the Fort Antonia was named after the Emperor Mark Antony. Okay, well, what Herod the Great did is that he also rebuilt the temple of the Lord, right, to satisfy the real Jews in that time, so that way, that would build up good PR for him. Well, this isn't what he built, which I'm going to show you in a bit what it looked like. But first, let's go ahead and watch this video that shows you that other people also know this, right? But let's watch this first.
And we're told that God's revealed presence never left these stones from the time of the temple to now. And that's what we feel here when we come here. God's revealed presence.
This is the holiest place that we have right now. The third temple is going to come right here.
Okay. So without a doubt, you believe that
there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt.
Although most people today are convinced that the temples were located on the Temple Mount, that wasn't the case 1,600 years ago.
But it's actually in the city of David, a few thousand feet south of here. That's what we hear from history, that the temple was totally destroyed.
The hill called Zion and Jerusalem. The building there, that is to say the temple, has been utterly removed or shaken.
Can you imagine telling a Jew, hey, that western wall you guys like to pray at is actually the wall of an old Roman fort?
And that's ultimately what they're doing. They're praying to a Roman fort, right? Because this is a more biblically and historically accurate depiction of how the temple was set up when Herod rebuilt the temple of the Lord. Okay, now what you're looking at here on the right, this is actually Fort Antonia. Okay, and you can see all the features of what today is known as the Temple of the Mount. Right now, one thing is missing. Right? Can you see it? Can you see what's missing? Well, it's this. It is the true mount of the temple, the location where the temple of the Lord used to stand. It is no longer there. It has been removed completely. All the rocks, for the most part, have been dismantled. And if you look at the picture, right, let's go back here. Right? If you look at the picture of the Temple Mount, now there's a road that's running right in front of it, right? Right in front. And you have this little courtyard here, and you have those large steps, right? And you have this little, like, I don't know, it looks like some sort of rooms and stuff. But let's go back to the room, to this, right? So you see right here that little garden area that you've seen, right? Right? And then this is where those little rooms were at. And you have a road that goes from here and it goes right in this area. But there's nothing over here. But you see, this also is prophecy. This was a prophecy mentioned by the Lord himself, Yahweh Shai, which is the true Hebrew name of the Messiah, right? It's Hebrew for he is salvation. Now, the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, he actually said this. He said, this is Matthew 24:2. And Yahweh Shai said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So let's take a look now at the Temple Mount, right? This is Google Maps, and if you zoom out, this is Jerusalem. Let's zoom back in, right? And let's take a look. And one thing that these devils have done, because again, you gotta understand that Google is owned by these Edomites, Amalek in particular. Because of that, you can't zoom in so much because, everything's going to look like it's, that it had its photo taken by a potato. But, it's good enough for what I want to show you, right? So here's that road again. And here is those little buildings where the steps would have been at the fort. Here's where that bridge would have originally been at, right? Over here is the Western Wall, or the Wailing Wall, that everybody prays at. But remember, this is not the place where the temple used to be at. This was the fort where Fort Antonia was at, okay? Now, over here in this area is where the temple used to be at, okay? Now, over here was also like the courtyard. And if you zoom out, you could see a little bit like this little curve. It's kind of like a shape like this. This right here is the original city of David, okay? I'm going to go ahead and show you in an overlay how how Jerusalem used to look like under King David. It was a small shape of land, which is, for the most part, it's shaped just like this, with the street and everything. Well, again, back to where the temple of the Lord should have been pictured at, right? Again, here's the Fort Antonia Square, right here. Here's that little courtyard. Let's go back here, right? We're seeing this courtyard here, which I'm talking about. Notice this is the courtyard of the temple of the Lord, and in the back half is where the Lord's temple was built. Now let's go back to the Google map. So again, the courtyard, and right here is where the temple of the Lord would be at. Now, what is here, right? Well, it's a parking lot. Why the heck is there a parking lot here when there's so much important architectural features and historic things that are around here? Why are these heathens raging for this Temple Mount over here, right? It's because they don't know the truth. The Lord did not reveal the truth unto these devils. This is Luke 12:2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Now, when you get into this parking lot, you'll understand that it's not a parking lot anymore, man. These devils have used it now, and they've been excavating it like crazy. They've been digging everything up, right? And for the most part, if you've been watching archaeological digs, news, and everything, you'll hear about how they found little seals, coins with ancient Israel, prophets' names on them, and all these things, right? This is where they're finding the stuff at, man. And why is that? Because this is the location of the temple. What you are looking at right now, Akim, are the stones which the temple was made of, man. Right? Look at this, man. There ain't no parking lot here. Now there is a small parking lot, that the researchers are using to store their cars right up here. But this is not a public parking lot, right? And the thing is just as you're seeing this group of people here, right? People understand that this is actually the real location, because again, this truth cannot be hid, right? Even though these devils have tried to hide this by saying it was just a parking lot and it's simply just an old location of the city of David, many people understand what this is, right? And this is why there's many tours here. Now, these devils, they're not letting anybody down into this little path. The only place you can go to is on these ramps. Now, that's if you could go on a tour, right? And these ramps, you can only get an overhead view of this archaeological site, right? Now, this, again, right here is where the temple used to be at. Now, ultimately, the location of the temple and the rocks and everything here, it is holy land, okay? But it does not have that much significance to the current path of salvation for us. However, right, it is a historic holy site that you should know about, right? That the truth is being revealed onto you, right? And that's why I want to cover this, right? Because ultimately it tells you in the scripture that the Lord, David had asked the Lord to always keep an eye on this place, right? So the Lord is always watching over this place, right? So this is a very holy area, right? That being said, I want you to see that these devils, they are deceivers to the core, man. Right? Not only, are they, playing the role, saying that the Temple Mount and the mosque up there, that those are the holy sites and that's where the temple's going to be at. You heard that Orthodox Amalek saying that there's no doubt that's where the third temple is going to be built. See, they have no freaking idea what's going on, man. The third temple that's going to be built isn't going to be a physical temple, right? They may build a third physical temple, but for the most part, that's not even what the scriptures were talking about. The third temple that is going to be built is us and our body, right? We are the temple of the Lord, right? And because we're going to be brought into a good, fully grown spiritual state, we are those third temples that are going to be built, right? But that being said, I want you to take a look at, the ancient, land, right? The location where the temple used to be at, right? And look at this, right? So here's a picture of the Temple Mount, and here's the dig site, man. Right? So here's like the only parking lot that you can park here, right? And those are for the workers. Now, let's go and watch some videos of this location to show you how these devils, how they approach this and how they describe it, just so you can see how Edom tries to hide this truth, man. They're just making it seem like it's just a standard archaeological dig. And they even have an Israelite there digging, not knowing what she's actually doing.
The biggest excavation site in ancient Jerusalem. We're now at the foot of the Temple Mount, very close to the Dung Gate. This used to be a very big parking lot, not existing anymore. It used to be right on top of us. As you can see behind me, many volunteers working pretty hard to find out and excavate Jerusalem. How about we go and speak with Doron Ben Ami, who's the archaeologist who's in charge here, and find out what's happening here. Doron, what are we digging here?
Actually, we are excavating the Giv'ati parking lot. We are concentrating now in excavating the remain of the early Muslim period. So far, we accomplished the excavation of this period, and we are heading down, most probably, to excavate the remains of the Byzantine period.
Well, this is the way an archaeological site is working. You dig by layers, meaning you have to discover the entire layer, make sure you know everything about it, photograph it if you need, sometimes even draw the remains, but then get rid of everything in order to find the remains of an earlier period, an earlier layer, which is underneath. In this case, we're talking of the Byzantine period. Now, since we're very close to the Temple Mount, we assume that we'll find very interesting stuff from the time of the Second Temple, and we also hope to find things from the times of the First Temple, which means at least 3,000 years.
We are working here with students. Most of them are students in the Hebrew University, but also students from other colleges and other institutes here in Israel, and they are excavating here on the behalf of the main entrance to fill and be part of this wonderful project. Together, we are going to eventually find some of the most important finds that we are hoping to find here.
My name is Julia, I'm from Argentina.
You're from Argentina?
Yes.
I see. What brings you here?
Well, I studied history in Argentina, and I'm very interested in archaeology, so this is the paradise for archaeology. Jerusalem, Israel, it's very, very interesting.
So how long are you here at these diggings?
I started in the end of February.
Which means how long?
Well, 3 months more or less.
Mm-hmm. And how long are do you intend to stay?
I hope to stay until the end. Yeah, the more the better.
Find anything interesting or exciting?
Yes, a small vessel this size. They already there found some big construction. It seems to be a palace. That might be the palace of the Queen Helene. There's a lot of unexpected stuff that we're expected to find. Mm-hmm. It seems to be it's gonna be important.
So
there's a lot of unexpected stuff that they're expecting to find. Right? And why is that, right? Because they are not being told where they're actually digging, right? Though that one guy that was interviewing did say that they are going to eventually be digging down and hopefully finding things from the Second Temple and the First Temple. So he understands what's going on. But, women like this woman here, she doesn't understand what's going on. She just simply thinks she's digging up some old location. Now, Esau, he has this whole place being dug up because he's trying to find clues. It tells you in the scriptures that how are the things of Esau sought out.
Belonging to one of, we believe, one of the richest families, or one of the most wealthy people that lived here in Jerusalem. Obviously was produced sometime in the 2nd century AD, the Roman period, even though it was found in Byzantine context. We have no idea how this earring ended here, but because we assume, because the entire structure was under destruction, the woman that this earring must have been belonged to tried to escape herself, and the earring just fell and was left here till the excavator uncovered it again.
So that's just one cool thing that they found there, right? But again, this is just showing you, like I was saying, how the things of Esau are searched out, how are his things sought up. And Esau, like ultimately, the reason why he's digging this stuff up is because he's trying to find clues, right? He's trying to find everything he can about the Lord, right? Because he understands the importance of this site. This is why he has it all, blocked off, why he's having things dug up and looked into, because he's looking for the clues to the truth of the Bible, right? Of, the secrets to the chambers that were set up, at the temple, okay? Now, they're not going to tell you this, but one guy I did find, this man's name is Leland Jones. And for the most part, he does seem like he's sincere. However, he doesn't have the ultimate truth about the Hebrew Israelite stance, right? But he also understands that Amalek in the land, Edom in the land, is not the true Jews. He understands that, he believes that the Jews are just dispersed, along with the Israelites, are dispersed all around. He believes, or his doctrine is that, a lot of this is celestial knowledge, with the planets lining up and everything. And he's a very well-studied, archaeologist and researcher. So he gives a lot of, good details, though, his doctrine and explanation of things are off, right? But, right here, he's going to actually talk about the truth of this temple, right? And he's going to explain some pretty amazing facts that I want you to watch. We're not going to watch the whole video, but I just want to show you some parts of this video. And I'll put the link in the bottom so you can actually see it for yourself if you want to. He makes a lot of cool videos regarding the Bible.
Parking lot excavation, which you can see behind me, we have found a shocking discovery, an amazing discovery. The seal, Bula seal of Nathan Melech. A seal is like your signature, and we're gonna look here at this excavation, his seal, written in the Bible in 2 Kings 23, verse 3, his chambers, okay? His chambers are here in this excavation. Okay, here we are at the parking lot excavation site. Behind, you can see the wall, and let's take a quick walk over to the City of David Museum to give us a vantage point on where we are. All right, right there, that's the City of David Museum. All right, so this is just giving us a good idea of like how close this is. Look at this. We're right here, bang, City of David Museum. Okay, and let's take a look let's walk through and take a look at some of the sites here. It's an amazing place. All right, here we have some of the other seals and bulas, okay? This one we've shown you, the half shekel examples here. But let's continue our walk and show you how close we are to the Kidron Valley down below. And here we are. All right, let's read what the Bible says. Haha. You can see we're here in 2 Kings 23, verse 9. And in verse 11, we find the owner of the seal. And he took away the horses that the kings of Judah had given to the son. Okay, we know this is Solomon's stables. At the entering of the, now pay attention, at the entering in at the house of the Lord by the chamber of Nathan Melech. Okay, so we have a chamber by the house of the Lord. Okay, Nathan Melech, the chamberlain, which was in the suburbs. Watch this. This word suburbs, okay, is in the Hebrew parvar or parbar. Now, we're just reading the Bible here, guys. Parvar, a foreign, it's a quarter of Jerusalem called parbar or suburb. Now, you can see it's used 3 times. It's used right here, where we are in 2 Kings 23, and see how it says at the entering in at the house of the Lord. Okay, the chamber of Nathan Melech, which is in the parvar. It's a structure or building attached to the west side of Solomon's temple. Let me say that again. It's right there. It says it, a chamber of Nathan Melech, the chamberlain. Okay, this is part of a structure or building attached to the west side of Solomon's temple. We actually just found the west location of the temple. Now, what we can do, now let's find where this is used. See, search for, now we're searching for the examples of Strong's Concordance 6503 used in the Bible. This is the first example. The next we see, the only other place this is in the Bible is 1 Chronicles 26 verse 18. Let's go there. When we go here, we can see 1 Chronicles 26. These are the porters around the temple in each position. Let's backtrack just a little bit.
I just want to stop it right there real quick, because what he's talking about is the location. The parbar is basically when you look at the temple of the Lord, the temple that Solomon built, this is what it looks like, right? You had the main entrance with the pillars, Jacob and Boaz, and then in this back little room here, you had the Holy of Holies, right? And in the sides and around the back, right, you had rooms, right? Let's go and zoom in on the layout, okay? These rooms here, the west side, right, because over here is north, right? See, north is over here, north, east, right? Because remember, you pray, the temple is always facing eastward, east, south, and west. So on the west side of Solomon's temple, down here, is the parbar. Okay, this is where Nathan Melech would have had his chambers at, right?
So you can see the context. They cast lots according to the house of their fathers, the east lot. Okay, so you have east. Okay, cast his lots to the north, Obed-Edom's house. To the west, okay, eastward were 6 Levites. Okay, north were 4, south 4. Then it says at Parbar, westward 4 at the causeway, 2 at Parbar. These are the porters that are around the temple. North, south, east, and west. In the west, Parvar is actually where we found the Giv'ati parking lot excavation. Guys, this is shocking information. I mean, I don't even know what to say. We actually have evidence of a physical location from the first temple. I mean, do you understand that? Do you see that? I'm just astonished, guys. This is amazing. Okay. Look at the article and read the information that they're releasing, because there is more to it than just an archaeological discovery. Guys, there's a reason, there's a prophetic message behind when a seal is released, when a piece of evidence is released. We're here in the city of David, and the amount of destruction that Jerusalem has had, there's very little that we can use as actual physical evidence, right? Books and different things, they're all destroyed. But what we do have is bulla. A bulla is a seal, okay? So if you wrote something as a document, instead of signing your name, you would have a seal, you know, like a seal, and you would emboss your name on the document. So the kings had seal, the nobles had seals, and we have a seal of a person, of his actual chamber that is west in the temple. Staggering. All right, to reorient ourselves once again, the Giv'ati parking lot excavation here. And here as we turn, this is the dung gate. And the entrance on the dung gate, then the Alaska Mosque is there, and the Western Wall just next to it. All right, let's orient ourselves, guys. This wall here, where you see the person in the yellow, in that fence, it's going around this corner. My finger, okay, all that. Behind that is the Giv'ati excavation. Up in the distance, behind this tree, that's Mount Zion. Okay, up here is the Jewish quarter. All right, so let's maintain that. All right, and then if we turn, there's Alaska Mosque, the southern portion of the Temple Mount. And guys, just here, not these exact rooms, but just here in this area called the Ophel, the Hezekiah and Isaiah seals were also discovered. I'll put links in the description field to describe what we're talking about. Guys, this is amazing. You know, this is amazing. We're really getting close here, guys. This is the Suleiman Wall here, but this is the Giv'ati parking lot, guys, right there. We have right here at the west, okay, it said the west, Parvar was west. All right, we're walking west. We're facing west. I mean, what this is saying is that the temple is over here. It's right here. All right, guys, here we go. These are the photos of a slideshow of the Giv'ati excavation. Here we can see it. And here is the bulla. Here is the seal. There's two here that we'll read about. The main one we're concerned with is Nathan Melech. Okay, and this is the article, as you can see, Times of Israel. And what we can see here, two minuscule 2,600-year-old inscriptions recently uncovered in the city of David, Giv'ati parking lot excavation, are vastly enlarged in understanding the ancient Jerusalem in the 8th century BC. The two inscriptions in Paleo-Hebrew writing were found...
There you go, real quick. In Paleo-Hebrew writing, okay? Let's go back and take a look at that. Right? These letters here is exactly what us Hebrew Israelites are reading and speaking in, right? Or what we at least believe the sound and pronunciation is like, right? Because like Apostle Tahar said, man, the only way you would know 100% sure is if we were to get in a time machine and go back into the time and hear how it was spoken, right? But through historic records and instructions, we have learned that, you know, what sound this, what's known as Canaanite Hebrew, right? Or also Paleo Hebrew, what sounds each one of these letters make, right? And it's not Yiddish, right? So all those people who say Paleo Hebrew isn't a thing, you guys are retards, man. The proof is right here.
Inscriptions in Paleo-Hebrew writing were found separately in a large First Temple structure. Let's say that again. They were found separately in a large First Temple structure within the span of a few weeks of a long-term team. Okay?
All right, I'm going to stop it right there, Akim. But I just wanted to show you, man, right, which this man, you know, so nicely put, that this is a large, this is a big deal, right? We now know where the location of the first temple of the Lord was at, right? And why do we know about this now in this time, right? Well, because this is we're living in the end times, and just like Isaiah made this prophecy in Isaiah 40 and 5, and the glory of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai hath spoken it. Right? Now there's so much to the Lord's glory that is being revealed now, right? His hidden people, the hidden language, the hidden location of his temple. Soon, I'm sure we're going to find out the true location of other things, right? That the Bible speaks of, the Ark of the Covenant, right? And all these different things, and eventually the second coming of the Messiah, right? These are all the glory of the Lord that is going to be revealed, that is being revealed in our days, so we can actually take a look at it and see it, right? So, you know, I just wanted to, you know, cover this cool little subject. I know it's not, you know, what we normally talk about, but even though it's still about our history, it's a beautiful subject. And, you know, I like to geek out and, you know, go into like the history and archaeology, you know, because again, this is our history. This is our lost history. This is the ancient lost history of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, and we should know it, right? So hopefully this video was edifying. If you want to watch this video from this man, right, or check out some of his other videos, I'll put them in the link in the description. So until the next time, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.